The eyes can suffer long-term complications caused by COVID-19, but luckily there aren't a large number of patients who suffer from these conditions. Ophthalmologist Dr. Amin Hagar shared with News 5 this week one of the most serious eye conditions that the virus causes. Diabetics in particular need to pay attention because they are the most vulnerable to developing the condition.
COVID, like other diseases which causes inflammation, can create inflammation of the optic nerve. This is the optic nerve into the eye. This is the retina. It causes inflammation of this nerve, the optic nerve, and the patient loses vision. It could have long-term effects. Of course, if it bled, if it obstructed the artery, the vein, yes, it can have a permanent loss of vision. As you know, in COVID, they have these clots going to all parts of the body, to your brain. So it does in the little arteries of the brain, of the eye.
Hagar advises COVID patients who start to experience blurry vision to consult with an eye doctor as soon as possible so that they can begin to treat the problem. The eye specialist said that COVID can also cause patients to suffer from less severe but sometimes painful or itchy eye conditions like conjunctivitis. But luckily, it can be treated from home with a little advice and some prescription medicine.
The conjunctiva gets red, the white part of the eye, and give you what we call a conjunctivitis.
Or pink eye?
Or pink eye, if it's a viral, we call it pink eye. And runny eyes, you can also have glare problems with the symptoms of COVID. Not too many people with conjunctivitis, with the COVID-19 visit the ophthalmologist. Very few, for obvious reasons. Once you have COVID-19, you go and isolate yourself. And they would call me, say, Doc, my eyes are itching. That's another thing. The eyes itch, burn, irritate. What can I do? Just use some antibiotics or some anti-allergic eye drops.
Interestingly, the pandemic has not affected his business, Hagar said, but with that blessing came the need for people in his profession to abide by strict safety precautions because of the nature of their work.
We are the closest frontliners, more than the internists and the other doctors, because they just touch it from far or put a nurse to or treat the symptom. I try to wear a double mask as much as possible. An N95 and this one on top, the surgical mask on top. And of course, it's important that the patients and myself don't touch the eyes and sanitize all the equipment there, here, all this and there, with each patient, because the patients can be bringing it, no?
There are also protocols that patients must adhere to at Hagar's eye clinic.
Patient has to come without, as much as possible, without symptoms, no? No fever, we take the temperature, we tell them to sanitize and not to touch the furniture or anything as much as possible. If they have fever, of course, they can't come in until they rule out that it's not COVID. If they have cough, the same, you know. And once they come in here, I tell them not to remove the mask at all, not to eat in here, because if they start to eat, they remove the mask and they spread the virus.
We hope that this edition of COVID Chronicles helps to educate people about how the disease can affect our vision and what to do if COVID begins to affect your eyes or vision in any way. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.